Welcome to this very special edition of Strange New Pod, live from FAN EXPO Canada, or really live from our hotel room bed. But that's what we're doing, and that's where we are, and it's fun nonetheless. It is early morning on Friday the 25th. Some of us are caffeinated, some of us are not. That is okay. I am your Fleet Admiral and host, Julian Brown, alongside the best bridge crew. This side of Rutherford being the main course at a Gorn wedding. Vice Admiral Erik is here, and I can reach out and I can touch, and I don't think I feel any Gorn scales. No, you're not. You're not too Gorny.
No,
he's not a Gorn. And Commander Emcee is here, ready with an imaginary foam boulder to throw at a Gorn in a moment's notice.
Those foam boulders are really good for throwing at just anybody. Gorn, Gary Mitchell, Ransom.
Yeah, throw him at Ransom, of course. Yeah, so we're here. We're live. We're in person. How we doing, guys?
Good.
Tired.
We survived our first night of sleep in the hotel. Mm-hmm. Mostly, we did good.
Yeah.
My shoulders hurt. Yeah. Oh man, as these things go. But guys, I do want to say it is awesome to finally be with you in person. One day we'll have the entire crew together. Things do happen and people can't travel. And there are 5 of us, so getting the same 5 people in the same room is a lot of work. Speaking of, though, you'll notice Hawk isn't here. He was supposed to be joining us, but we are thinking of him. He's having a difficult time with him, so he is in our thoughts. We are going to go right into this because we have a packed day. We had a packed day yesterday already.
Yeah.
You guys are going to be getting tattoos. I was going to go to the main hall with you, and then I got the text to get a tattoo, so I already got a tattoo. Yeah. Things just warp speed at conventions. But we're here to talk about the Gorn. That's right. Gorn are the days of Strange New World Season 2. But still plenty to go on about. That's right. We're continuing our Best of Species series now that the Gorn have a few more episodes under their belt. From their origins in Arena to their very odd inclusion in a Mirror Darkly on Enterprise. Even a brief chat about the Gorn wedding in Veritas. And finally, a look at their 3-episode arc in Strange New Worlds. But first, Emcee, and gonna have to read it on a phone, we need to thank our amazing Ready Room level patrons at the Ready Room level and above, please.
Thank you to Jeff Reeve, Mariah Gossett, Tallulah, Jen Stein, Tina Alexander, Joe Saporito, Noe Santos, Ken Hui, Taco Nagumo, Kara Kennedy, Fernanda Nogales, SMK, Laura Linderman, Colin Davidson, Alan Davis, Jesco, Michael Graham, Emily and Travis, Gildara, Cassie, Julian Shadia's Hair Purple, Maggie Light, Spapple, Wayne Ritz, Skona Vark, Sean, Jay Howard, Anna Uridon, Mehalani Uchiyama, Matt Harker, Rob Sampson, Joshua Lewis, David Willett, Tara Paulin, Slope74, Rude Parakeek, Joshua Miller, Adam Sanders, Eris Spenjan, Lanky Guy, Cynthia Markey, Aaron Wolfke, Carl Angoli, Michael Kwan, TJ, Mayor, Caitlin, Elizabeth Dean, Jim McMahon, The Chief, Ernesto Castagna, Sedano 317, Deborah Hussey, 3 Fries Short, Kate Tipp, Malcolm Reed, Sean Manning, Congressional Baseball Fan, Chris Waterman, and our newest collective member, Ratha Chai Burns.
I guess so. Let us know in the Patreon as you do. Sometimes we get some cool names in there, and sometimes we don't know how to pronounce them. We want to make sure you're getting your name right. Thank you to all of our amazing patrons. That list just continues to grow and grow and grow. And as always, a big thank you to our executive producers, Commander Chris, Simon Stager, the Chief Ernesto Castagna, and Chris Waterman. I already kind of talked about this, but I'm happy to be back in Canada. This is my first time here, I think, since like 2013 or 2014. I think I've made all my trips to Canada to Toronto 3 times in a row now. So something about Toronto. But the 3 of us, we've been together in Long Island, Emcee. But Erik, this is more than 3 years because we did stuff with Geeks with Kids and everything is permitted. Like, we're all here together. How does it feel?
Yeah. That was good.
I think it's weird that it's taken Erik and I this long to hang out together.
Well, yeah, you guys don't have as good of an excuse.
Yeah, it's true. Same with Hawk, right? Like we could have all and then seeing Colin and Haven, it's great seeing everyone. It's weird, but it
is weird, but it's cool.
Yeah,
it's really cool. Yeah, and it was cool just like walking to convention hall. I think it was like very fitting. Yesterday, the first booth that we ran into were like people that have worked on Strange New Worlds and had like a cool booth of like props and triples and stuff. So like, I don't know. We should
go talk to them today.
Yeah, we should.
And film them.
Yeah. That would be awesome. No, it's really cool to be here. I hope we get to do it more often than not because it is, it's just always fun doing these things in person.
For sure.
News. Who wants to read the first bit of news?
I'll do it.
Hit it.
Next week, our Lower Deck rewatch begins, and next week's episode is our Lower Deck season 3 review.
Yeah. So I need your guys' favorite and least favorite moments from season 3. We got to get going on.
Peanut hamper.
We got to think about that. That's
yeah. Peanut hamper is definitely, I think, going to be a few of our least favorite. And Tara might kill us. We'll see.
We got to keep the chat lively.
We do.
And
let's
we do
see.
have stickers for the rewatch.
We did. Your stickers are awesome, by the way.
They do look awesome because I got to see them for the first time in person.
Yes, I gave some to you. They're really great.
We're live tweeting today. Like today's going to be the big, or at least the start of the big coverage.
Yeah. We'll stay tuned to all our socials because this will go live at some point in the next few hours. So you should definitely be seeing stuff on our socials all day, tweeting, Instagram. Emcee already posted a cool video interview with someone in Artist Alley with some really beautiful art. So
if you're here this weekend, check out Artist Alley. It's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. And then also just a quick shout out to our amazing partners over at Heroes and Villains. You can go to heroesandvillains.com. Obviously, you can't see our shirts today, and I'm actually not wearing one right now because we're gonna go do some picketing for the strike, which is also awesome. But you can get 20% off your first order over there. They have a bunch of awesome. They just released a whole line of Gorn shirts, and they look freaking fantastic. From the Gorn in like the suit, just to like the face of the Gorn, and they have them in like black and green. They look awesome. So 20% off your first order that is in the U.S. only. And by the way, want to say that we're really excited. We are getting some numbers about you guys using our code, and a lot of you have used our code. So wanted to say a big thank you for supporting this awesome partnership we have with Heroes and Villains. Did I miss anything news-wise? Are we good?
I think we're good.
We're good? All right. Well, I have to figure out where the button is because I'm using the old mixer here. It is time for the strange new loop, and it is Gorn related, guys. So do you think, given that we've had 3 episodes with them now in Strange New Worlds, that we should be given an explanation at some point why the Gorn are the way the Gorn are in Arena? Or do we just go with the fact that the Gorn that we have now have always been the Gorn, and it was just the fucking 60s when Arena came out?
I mean, they're big reptilian creatures. They can come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. They might not have tails. Maybe someone grabbed that tail and he had to let it go, right?
So what you're saying is Northern Gorn?
Northern Gorn.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
It's the 60s.
It was the 60s. Yeah.
Although I would love to see a modern man in a suit.
Yeah, I love Arena. It's one of my favorite episodes, so I would love for them to do some sort of Arena Gorn callback. I mean, I think we're getting closer and closer because we're at least now seeing, like, intelligent Gorn.
Yeah.
As in hegemony. I can't speak. Hegemony.
That one.
Yes. Thank you for naming it that. But yes, we're seeing intelligent Gorn now, which was something that I was really worried about when they were first.
Yeah.
We'll get more into that later. So yeah, I think we could see a form of Gorn from Arena, but probably not full out Arena. They're going to leave that for lower decks.
Yeah. I love the tails just because it's so alien. So, like, I love these Gorn. We did the rewatch of Arena for this episode of the pod, and it's just so bad. And I know you love it.
Well, the thing is, it's not even so much the Gorn in Arena. It's just like the whole man, and I mean, I know it's not a man, but like the whole two intelligent beings like fighting each other, the most dangerous game type situation.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be funny at some point if we do get like the man in the suit, like you said, Eric. But like,
I don't think Strange New Worlds is the place to do it.
No, I mean, yeah, if anybody could explain it and make it canon and do it right and joke about it, it's Lower Decks, and that's just all the explanation we need. But I don't need an explanation.
No.
I don't.
Maybe if we get like a really ancient Gorn, like I'm kind of thinking like Cranky Kong from Donkey Kong Country.
Oh, man, that would actually be really funny.
Have me write for the shows.
Yes. I need to, that reminds me, I'll do it after, make the strike thing. I'll splice it in. Anything else on the Strangers of the Loop? We good? We good?
Oh, we're good.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about the history of the Gorn. And Eric, speaking of Arena, what's going on with the Gorn there?
Yep. So originally in Arena, the cast list in the final draft described the Gorn as a large 6'4" lizard-like creature, well-muscled, very strong. When the Gorn first appeared in the scripted events of the episode, the description of the alien read, It is a lizard who walks like a man, two-legged, two-armed, a thick, glistening, scaly hide, the size of a man with outstanding musculature, a wide mouth full of sharp teeth, a ridge of hard plate running down his back, even a prehensile, thick, strong tail. He is wearing a garment like a short robe. He does not wear shoes of any sort.
I have to say that description totally reads like it was written by a monster fucker.
It does. And well read in very Shatner-esque fashion. Well done. Much appreciated. So yeah, minus the short robe bit there, I guess, had you never seen the Arena Gorn? This could be the Gorn in Strange New Worlds, yeah?
I mean, other than the short robe.
Yeah.
But we don't know. It might be underneath the spacesuit.
I would die if it was. Like, just like
I
a sad...
need it. Like, I will forgive them all of the changes to the Gorn if we see one of them in the little shorty robe.
Oh my god, just nothing else, like coming out of a sauna. Now we're getting sexy Gorn.
Hardcore Gorn.
Hardcore Gorn. Emcee, give us our little bit, our next piece of Gorn history, please.
The Gorn were originally to have been featured as villains in the 2001 Star Trek Enterprise first season episode, The Andorian Incident. One reason why their role in the story was replaced with the Andorians was that the Gorn, unlike the Andorians, were considered to be unable to talk. Near the end of Enterprise's first season, staff writer Michael Sussman offered, "Before we decide to have the Andorians, we all talked about doing the Gorn. But when we looked at the show, it was decided by Rick and Brannon that it was pretty clear that Captain Kirk's run-in was the first time anyone had seen the Gorn." I'm sorry. So, as much as we would love to use them, it doesn't fit with what's been established, so they're kind of off the table for us.
I think you're laughing, too, because obviously the thinking of 2001 doesn't really add up to what we've seen now in Strange New Worlds.
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't... They don't say anything to make it seem like they've never seen it.
It's Kirk who hasn't seen the Gorn, and as I have said repeatedly, Kirk is a fucking himbo who basically just fell off the turnip truck from Iowa, who doesn't know anything about even his fucking best friend.
Or sliding doors.
Okay, revolving doors. Let's blame not knowing anything about his best friend on Spock, though, who doesn't share anything with anybody.
That's fair, but
right?
I mean, yeah.
Oh, man.
He was really busy trying to get that promotion. He just is going to completely miss the Gorn War.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's fine, right? Like, it doesn't add up, but canon changes all the time.
Canon is not a real thing.
And I know that there were some arguments, too, on Twitter about, like, the fact that, well, Uhura has seen the Gorn now, and Chapel has seen the Gorn, and Spock has seen the Gorn. Like, why didn't anybody? Why didn't they say anything?
Well, they didn't. They said they couldn't recognize the ship in Arena, right?
Right.
Like, and that's fair. It was we don't even see it in the on the view screen or anything.
I mean, we don't even know a whole lot about the Gorn from Arena. Like, I mean, he is a Gorn captain, but is he a Gorn captain in like whatever in the Gorn hegemony, or is it like a Gorn pirate captain?
Ooh, Gorn pirates. Yeah,
I like this. I might write this as a monster fucker story about Gorn pirates.
You're just really looking for an excuse to write a monster fucker story.
I mean, it's a day that ends in Y.
It is indeed. It is indeed. Let's see what our little next piece of trivia about the Gorn. So, as described in the final draft script of In a Mirror Darkly Part 2, the Gorn were, quote, giant reptiles with 3 clawed fingers and razor-sharp teeth. That we've definitely been seeing. Star Wars also... Star Wars? What? Oh! Slar, who is the Gorn on the Defiant, was also scripted to be wearing the Gorn equivalent of an EV undersuit. As for Gorn language, the script commented that immediately before shot by Archer, Slar was cursing at Archer in his own tongue. So, this is definitely what we've seen in Stranger Worlds. And as shitty as that CG Gorn was in A Mirror Darkly, that's kind of the evolution that we've seen now, right, in Stranger Worlds. They've gotten more scary, but I think... Do you guys remember from Hegemony? I can't do it. Hegemony, thank you. If that Gorn had 3 fingers, or if it had a full... Because when it was fighting Spock, but, I mean, it's...
We didn't really see the hand so much. It was all tail action.
Well, he doesn't he put his...
Oh, yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I don't think it's 3. I think it might be 4.
Yeah.
But, you know...
Either way, you get the sharp
Southern
teeth.
Gorn.
Southern Gorn. Maybe an Eastern Gorn.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like, this is one of the reasons why I don't think we're going to be getting Arena Gorn, because they've been pretty consistent in this is how the Gorn are now. Because, like, in Enterprise, Julian and I were talking before about the really bad Star Trek 09 video game that
it's
featured
so
the Gorn.
bad,
and that now Strange New Worlds, all of them kind of have this, you know, more animalistic Gorn in them.
Yeah, yeah, yep. Let's talk more about Slar, right? Because In a Mirror Darkly, I think, is considered to be maybe the best, if not one of the best episodes of Enterprise, the Mirror Universe episode. It is fantastic. So yeah, Slar is on board the Defiant, right? Bit of an odd addition, but in doing research for the episode, it seems like it was more of a backdoor way for them to introduce the Gorn. Had Enterprise gotten a season 5, which obviously it didn't. I know, right? Still, like, what do you guys think about Slar wreaking havoc for Mirror Archer, who was already dealing with like a bunch of other bullshit, trying to like basically stage a coup, and it kept on getting messed up.
It was a nice addition to already like a good episode, so I was surprised when I saw it originally. So it was a short, fun appearance. That's all I really. Took it for.
I mean, that's really, it's so short. It's so short. Yeah. It's
one of the best Enterprise episodes, but it is one of the worst Gorn episodes because you blink and you miss them. I mean, that's not saying that, you know, that's not making a crack against Enterprise, because I actually quite like Enterprise, especially season 4. Yeah. But it's not a good example of a Gorn episode.
No, it isn't. It is sad though, right? Because it does definitely seem like they were going that route had they gotten a season 5, and Strange New Worlds then maybe wouldn't have had to like basically reimagine the whole species. But who knows? Maybe they still would have. You never know. I liked Slar. I like the, like, you know, if you play Star Trek Online at all, the Gorn are such like a major part of that universe, right? Like they're actually part of the Klingon Empire in that timeline, which is strange but also cool. Like you have Gorn commanding Klingon vessels. That's just
fucking amazing,
right? It's really cool, and like they have like full Klingon armor on. Like it's pretty dope.
I really like that because I mean, like the Federation is like a conglomeration, but mostly humans. So let's have the Klingon Empire like be mostly Klingons, but also some other people.
Yeah, no, it is really cool. So To see them, and then like it also deals with dude. So much of Star Trek Online is Mirrorverse related. Like there's always some Mirrorverse chapter, and they deal with things like like Deep Space Nine did, and dealing with slavery, and like the fact that Slar on Enterprise was a Gorn slave, like being held by the Tholians. And then was just kind of like in the wrong place at the wrong time, and was like, "Oh, you're going to steal this ship? I'm going to make your life a living hell because I'm on here and I want to escape." So it was cool. The one thing that could be said about it is it could have been any other species, but a Gorn is still pretty badass, so I'll take it. Let's talk about the episode that started it all. Vasquez rocks, baby. We're going back in time. Yeah, the horrible zombie walking, just everything, the horrible choreography. What did you guys think about Arita, the very first Gorn episode, and his amazingly cheese-tastic fight with Captain Kirk?
I mean, how could you not love this episode? It's so fun. It's such a good like an examination of Kirk and like how willing he is to destroy this alien that had destroyed that colony. Like it was crazy how quick he went to revenge. And I love that. What was the name of that alien species that looked like Romans?
Yeah,
like Roman gods.
Is it the Metrons?
The Metrons. It was
yeah.
the Metrons. Yep.
Like I loved having that, overarching godlike.
The really twinky looking guy.
Yeah, that
Very.
Yeah. And then the fact that they're both intelligent beings fighting for survival, and one looks so different than humans, and like so much that we'd seen on Star Trek at that point was very humanoid, like at least at the base. Yeah. So to see something totally different was really cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
did we talk about this in the? I forget whether it was in the notes or if I was reading this somewhere else. That the same person who designed the Gorn for this episode also designed Nancy, the salt monster, in not Charlie X, in
Mantrap.
In Mantrap, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I think that's what I read. I could be wrong about that.
Wouldn't shock me.
No, yeah. I mean, I'm sure you didn't have like an entire makeup department back then. You probably had like one person.
Yeah,
one person.
Like, mainlining cocaine. Everything done on time.
60s were a hell of a time.
It's what Giraffe always says, that the costuming department at the original series was $5 and a bunch of cocaine.
Yeah.
I interrupted you. Sorry.
Oh no! I like the fact that the first thing I remember seeing of this episode was when Kirk was doing his like log into this little cylinder thing, and you could see that the Gorn was listening in. I was like, oh, he is actually really smart. That's really cool. I thought it was really cool that, and then we heard his weird translated voice, and I was like, okay, it's still.
Yeah.
I think it's really like, it's a quintessential Star Trek episode.
It is.
For sure.
Because it's that beautiful mix of like this Kirk versus this alien who is just as smart as he is, but is so alien. So it's like that wonderful philosophical question of, debate what's going on. Like, is this really a good thing for Kirk to be doing? But then there's also this really fucking cheesy fight with this zombie walking lizard thing. And, a Twinkie alien from up on high. Like, this is so Star Trek. Like, it is one of the most Star Trek episodes there's ever
One day in 1,000 years, we can maybe call you friends. Yeah, I don't love Arena. But I think that's just because the more I've watched it, the more I'm like, oh, this is so bad. But it is also, like, you could say you don't like it, but you also cannot deny, like you just said, Emcee, that it is quintessential Star Trek. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're going to sit down and, like, show Star Trek to someone for the first time and you're going to start with TOS, you have to show them Arena.
Yeah.
It is on my list of episodes that you show
go.
people to, like, if you are going to understand what Star Trek is, you have to see this.
Yeah.
I don't even think the worst choreography is the fight. I think it's Kirk running from the bunker to the other, like the hole.
And the rolls.
And the random crawling. Like, man.
Do you know that a lot of the cast wound up with tinnitus because of the explosions.
Really?
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
makes
we were talking
sense.
about in the chat. I did not know that. Yeah.
So they like totally Pete Townsend did.
Yeah, and I think there was some lawsuits because of it, if I'm not mistaken. But
Treat your actors well. Treat
Yeah.
your crew well.
this episode, yeah, like it's just so cheese, but there's so much fun to it too. Like obviously, like the rock is a giant foam rock, and like the way that Kirk picks it up is just like nonchalant. Like you
When
just
he's rolling the big rock and he has that look of it, like
yeah.
it's psychotic.
The Gorn is cool, right? Like it's an iconic makeup, and it's not just an iconic makeup in Star Trek. Like it's an iconic makeup at this point in pop culture.
Yeah.
So that's cool. You brought up a good point though, Eric. Like I almost like this episode. I think actually would have stayed like more tested, like the test of time, had that Gorn not talked at all, because you get that voice and it kind of takes you out, because it's just like my raspy Jewish grandfather, like sitting on his couch smoking a pack of cigarettes, and that's what it sounded like. And it was the 60s, so that's probably what the person was doing. Had it not talked at all, I think that would have been cooler. But then again, I don't think we would have necessarily known. Do we see? Is it only because we see the Gorn listening in, or does he mention to Kirk when we do hear him that he's listening in? Because I don't know if you. I don't think you necessarily then like get the idea that the Gorn is that smart if it doesn't talk and is listening in.
I think like
so.
With the Gorn talking, that's how you realize that the Gorn is is a humanoid reptile and not just a monster.
Yeah. I liked the Metrons. Someone said that we should see the Metrons in Discovery because it's 1,000 years later.
Yeah. Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, right. Maybe they're there. The Metrons looks a little bit like the butterfly people from season 4. So I don't know. Maybe they evolved, or
I mean, they're one of those random higher powers that shows up in Star Trek. I mean, they came across that a lot.
there were so many godlike beings in TOS. Like at least TNG stuck mostly with Q.
Yeah. No, the higher beings had like two forms. It was like light projected onto the wall, or some dude in a toga.
Giant green hand.
But he was also a dude in a toga.
You are.
True.
That is
True.
very true.
True.
That is very true. Anything else on Arena?
Nah,
The music.
music good.
I mean, like, you can't.
No.
The music is just the music.
Yep. Let's talk a little bit about Veritas, because even though there's nothing there, it's just amazing. There you look. The Gorn and Veritas are the Arena Gorn, right? They're not cuddly, despite that this looks like a really fun wedding. Like, I'd go if I was invited. But they're literally eating Rutherford in the episode, which is what they definitely like to do in Strange New Worlds. What did we think about the scene, especially now that we've seen what they do in Strange New Worlds?
I mean,
I know.
it's amazing. I don't know if I can say anything more than that.
Yeah.
Like it was so unexpected, and then for it to show up was like a cherry on top of another cherry on top of this giant sundae.
Yeah.
And it was such a like the fact that it was a humanoid looking wedding, like just stereotypical. Like here's the bride's side, here's the groom's side. They're all up to the front, and they have this minister that's
Someone had a Polaroid
like
camera.
it was amazing. Like
Yeah. MC.
Oh, it's a nice day for a Gorn wedding.
It is indeed.
I love how the Gorn bride is wearing a wedding dress, but still has like part of the pattern from the Gorn robes. And oh my God, Rutherford got really lucky with everything we know from Strange New Worlds. Like,
Yeah, man.
I mean, maybe like during one of those blackout periods, his device was able to like flush out the Gorn eggs. But I mean, Gorn weddings could be followed by a Gorn honeymoon, so
Ooh, yes, and lots of spitting on poor little Rutherford. Yeah, he was getting eaten. You kind of just find it funny like when you watch the episode the first time before you've watched Strange New Worlds and seen the gore in there. But definitely, like you just said, there's a little bit of like, oh shit, like what would have happened to Rutherford? He was getting eaten by them, and maybe he was gonna like have little Gorns like explode out of his back, and it could have been brutal and a lot worse. But it's comedy, so that didn't happen.
Yeah, though I do think with Strange New Worlds that they're going to be finding some sort of cure for or like an inoculation, because considering it doesn't come up in Arena, we got to find some way around it.
Battelle lives. I'm still calling it.
Which is such a change from last season when we were like, she dead.
It was just telegraphed. Erik, this is one of your favorite episodes, I think, of Strange New Worlds. We're going to talk about Memento Mori. We don't physically see the Gorn in this episode, but it's their reintroduction into Star Trek. We get this just amazing episode of Trek, right? It's like the first inkling of this reimagining of the Gorn, how they hunt, what their weird-ass ships look like, and then a little bit of some inclination, and I know it's a sour point for Giraffe, into how their language works. What did you think about their reintroduction and this awesome episode of Trek?
It was so good that they didn't show the Gorn in this episode. Like the tension created by this force, and pretty much they were this like unstoppable force that was unrelenting. It just kept on attacking, and like it was such a well scripted and choreographed episode that it was such a good way to introduce this foe that's obviously going to take us into the third season, but they've been building this threat, and like we see little Gorn in the next time we see them. Now we get big Gorn, and then bigger things. Like it's building into something that I can't wait to see whenever we get the third season.
Like
Change the
2 years.
2 years.
So we're going to get bigger Gorn every time. So what you're saying is we're eventually going to see the Gorn as a kaiju.
Yes,
Yo,
I
oh my
would love
God.
that. Yes.
That would be pretty epic. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I'd be here for that.
We need more kaiju in Star Trek.
I would agree with that. There's not enough. Yeah. Memento Mori, Emcee.
Memento Mori. It is the first time we see La'an scared.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is terrifying because La'an is such a badass. Just that it's the Gorn is just chills.
And not
An
this
iconic,
music
like-
there. Yeah.
Iconic reading by Christina Chong.
Yeah.
I like how they played it. Like when they first introduced like the idea of her being a survivor of the Gorn in Strange New Worlds, like the pilot episode, we were all intrigued by this idea. Like, what's going to be happening? Like, how is this going to play into things? This is just going to be background. And then when they finally bring it in, they played it out. They've played out the Gorn so nicely.
Yeah.
To the point of almost frustration in season 2, and it's like, when are we going to get?
Well,
to the Gorn?
right, because they mentioned him like what in the first
first
episode,
episode,
and then we
and
don't
they
see him
edged
till
us
they
till the
did
finale.
lots of edging, and I mean that happens when you watch Gorn. I love Memento Mori. I know that we've talked about this episode a lot on my issue with the taking us out of the submarine episode and giving us the weird shuttle scene, but this is mainly about the Gorn. I can't really talk much more about what you guys said because like seeing La'an scared is just so epic. Like I don't think have really had a moment like that in like the new era of Trek where there's just been like that level of fear. Even like I think maybe like if you want to go to Discovery season 2 when like Arium snaps, that's like pretty scary. But I don't even think
It's
that
not
gives
this
off the
level.
same vibe. No.
Yeah, that's very intimate.
Yeah.
This is more.
Well, this is intimate in another way
Yeah.
for La'an, right? Because like it's a very
This
But I mean, like with Arium, it's almost like a slasher movie
Right.
type situation.
Right.
Well, this is like you said, the submarine.
no.
this episode really was when I was like, they're trying to be Battlestar, and they're doing a good job at it.
Yeah. Even they made a little Dratus. Yep, Spock. Yep.
I mean, if you're gonna try to be anybody, you try to be Battlestar.
Exactly.
Season 2 Battlestar and some of season 3 and
All of it.
all of it. Yeah.
Except for the last season.
Did you like the finale?
No.
No.
I did not like the last season.
I didn't love the last season, but
if
I did
they
love the
ended
finale.
when they got to Earth 2 and were devastated, that would have been the perfect season for me. But then they kept going, and I was like,
So you wanted the not happy ending?
I wanted the not happy ending. I didn't want the giant, the angels. Just,
That's discussion for another time.
Yep.
Let's talk about an episode that we don't like talking about too much, even though it's really good, and that's All Those Who Wander, right? Memento Mori, the soft launch for reintroducing the Gorn. Wander being the hard launch in this very alien-inspired episode. Equal parts horror, equal parts heartbreaking. We see Gorn hatchlings. They take our beloved Hemmer from us, and by doing so, I think kind of gives us the right idea of just this giant threat that the Gorn really are, because we get, a beloved character's death because of them. Thoughts on this one and seeing what the new Gorn looked like for the first time?
I love Alien.
Yeah.
Right? So when they did it in Star Trek, perfect. Like it was beautifully shot. It was beautifully edited by two of our friends. And like it was such a well-crafted story and acted wonderfully by everyone. And having a baby alien be a giant threat was so good.
Yeah.
This episode is probably one of my favorites.
Yeah. It's a really good episode. I know that like some people don't rewatch it anymore because of the Hemmer situation, but it's so good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for, talking about, if you're going to rip something off, rip off Battlestar Galactica. I mean, if you're a space show and you haven't ripped off Alien yet, come on. Like, it is classic science fiction. And I do think Star Trek kind of stayed away from Alien because it is so different than their usual science fiction, because it is a science fiction horror. But it's such a good thing for them to get into. And it works very well with the Gorn. Mm-hmm. As much as I hate losing Hemmer, we needed to lose somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we didn't have a lot of options.
Especially with that ground crew. Like, there was no one. It was just Hemmer.
You could have...
Oh, La'an was there, too.
Yeah. La'an, but the thing is, since she was such a integral part of the Gorn, like, she's our Ripley in terms of the Gorn.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, we had to keep her around. The only other who wasn't there, if they had brought Ortegas with, then they could have killed her off, but we would have had the same problems with that.
Do you think people would have been more outraged if they killed Ortegas over Hemmer?
I think it's 6-1.
I don't know. Like, Hemmer was beloved, but he was hardly in the show.
I mean, that describes Ortegas to a T.
Yeah.
Like, either way, I think it would have been exactly the same. People would have been upset.
Yeah.
I think the emotional impact of Hemmer, though, I don't think that they could have done that the same way as with Ortegas. I think Ortegas would have been a bit more Tachi, our skin of evil.
Yeah, yeah. I adore this episode, and I don't have the same qualms over Hemmer dying as a lot of people because he was not on the show. I didn't have the time to get attached to him. I know that he's a really important character for a lot of people, and I have a ton of respect for that. And, Bruce listens to our show. Like, he's a great guy and a great actor. But I do agree. Like, someone needed to die. And this is such a great way to be like, the Gorn are fucking scary. Like, they are scary. And the way that they reproduce is scary. And they not only ripped off Alien, there's ripping off, and then there's doing justice, and, it's imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Like, that's what this episode is. And I adored it. We get that like really bad moment with Sam Kirk, which I think, yes, there's like a little bit of racism in there when he's like going off on Spock, but I think it's also a really good example, that scene, of like what you do in a situation where your adrenaline is pounding and like you could get eaten any second by a flesh-eating monster. Like,
but it's good for Sam to not be perfect.
Yeah.
Like, I like that he's grown, like, especially when we see him in Hegemony, like the fact that he wants to step up, like that's a good character trait for him. Like, I like that he's flawed and then tries to get better. Yeah. From what little we've seen.
And the setup at the end of this, like, you know, like baiting the Gorn with cold and like seeing it run, and mad props, because no pun intended, to Strange New Worlds for using puppets and not going the CGI route with them, because you can tell, even good CG these days, you can tell, and this was just like like them being real made it that much more scary. So
it helps that Matt and Wes did such a good job at cutting the tension, like cutting the show to add all this tension. Like it's such a well crafted show from every single aspect.
yeah. Yeah.
As much as it breaks my heart, like, it's one of my favorite episodes of season 1.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, it is really, really good.
And again, like you said, Bruce is an amazing actor, and his death was heartbreaking and perfect.
It was
like,
a great death for a character. Like, not a lot of characters get to go out in a cool way, and I think that he gets to go out in a really cool
Plus, we
way.
didn't see the body, so he might be alive.
No body, no death. No
Just
body,
like
no death.
Andoria.
Oh, man. Let's talk about our final episode tonight, and I'm going to mispronounce it because that's what I do. Hegemony, right?
Hegemony.
Hegemony. I will one day get that right. It is not today. Hegemony. Why can't I do it? I'm going to say it until I get hegemony. Hegemony. Blah, 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 blah.
We should have Todd on here to teach you how to.
Todd already yelled at me yesterday. I went and said hi to Todd at his table yesterday, and I just went up to him and I said, Talik. And he's like, yeah, you really botched that, didn't you? Yeah, I love Todd. The season 2 finale of Strange New Worlds, it completes the trifecta of the reintroduction of the Gorn. Space combat, Memento Mori, ground combat, and just straight up horror and first looks in All Those Who Wander, and now in this showing off their smarts, battle tactics, even some, you know, political flanking, setting up for a possible war in season 3. How did we feel about the way that the past 2 episodes helped set up the Gorn in the season 2 finale?
I mean, Alien 1 sets up Alien 2 and 3. So they did a good job at doing all the best parts of Alien 2 and Alien 3 in this episode.
There were good parts of Alien 3?
Yeah, when Ripley dies. And there were some other parts, I guess. I like the fact that the alien never attacked Ripley because she was, infected or impregnant. Yeah.
Which, yes, we did get in this episode, just flat out.
Yeah. So they got that good part. I really enjoyed that we saw battle tactics from the Gorn. The fact that they send in their young to clean up the mess, and it's so messed up and awesome at the same time. The the demarcation line, I was like, that was such a badass move by them. They're like, you know what? We already attacked this place. You know, you can't go over here. You
I
can't
get
go. This is our
goosebumps
spot
thinking
now.
about that. Like it's like we've been talking about all episode. They're not just walking idiot lizards. Like they are extremely smart.
And the best part is when we see the adult one trying to hack a computer. Like the things I did not expect to see. That was the number one thing I don't think I was ever gonna see, and they did it, and it looked really cool and really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this made me so happy because the thing that I said this before, that I really wanted was the intelligent Gorn that we saw in Arena. Like, I don't care if we get the rubber suit, because we're not going to get the rubber suit, but I wanted to see the adult Gorn intelligence, and we had not gotten that yet. But we knew it had to be there because everything we heard from La'an did not suggest, like, these... That's the thing that's different between these guys and the aliens. It is not just, like, this breeding cycle. They're not, like in Aliens, these weapons that are just made to just destroy a thing. They do have a set purpose.
Yeah.
And that is something that we got in Hegemony that we hadn't gotten in All Those Who Wander or Memento Mori. And love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. I just have to say, too, that, like, I guess the Gorn have a thing for Constitution-class starships.
Yeah.
They've attacked the Enterprise. They destroyed the one in All Those Who Wander. They destroyed the Cayuga.
Could it be the light pattern of the Constitution-class ships?
Maybe. I mean, it's not a bad theory. Going back to what you were saying, Eric, I think my favorite moment in this episode is what you were saying when Chapel thinks that Spock has made it on board the Cayuga, and she's like, Spock, and then you see the tail drop.
Yep.
And the tail drops, and you see that it's been trying to hack in, and it turns, and you see the face and the eyes and those teeth, and it's just the whole package. And getting to see, like, they are smart and they are very cultured. You don't just like their armor is gorgeous, right? Like, just for an EV suit, that armor has, it's not just because Gorn are green, it's got like green accents on it. So you know that they probably have some kind of appreciation for the arts, like, anybody else.
Saw their robes.
Yeah, right. We saw their little skirts. Yeah, they have appreciation for these things too. And I think seeing those things makes me really excited for where we're going. And that's kind of my last question for you guys. This is 3 episodes now. Obviously, whenever we get season 3, this is where we're going to pick back up. Are you excited about where the Gorn are going?
Nah. Yeah. I want to see a Gorn ship. I want to see the inside.
Yeah.
I want to see more scientists. I want to see how their bridge works.
Yeah.
I want to see the gem eyes. That's what I want. I want that back.
So you don't want like just the reptiles, you want like from Arena, like the Arena
or at least
eyes?
some sort of like pattern on the eyes. I don't want just straight black. Like, I know it's the lizardy scary thing, but I love the eyes from Arena.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we could maybe come up with like a reason for like the different kind of eyes and not northern.
Maybe
Gorn.
it has something
Maybe
to do with the
it's
sun.
Yeah, maybe it's like some sort of like goggle.
Yeah.
In 84 years when we get Strange New Worlds 3, I would love to see more of the Gorn, and I know that you guys weren't crazy about the Gorn talking in Arena, but I want to hear a Gorn talk.
I wouldn't mind it. I just don't want it to sound like Julian's grandfather.
I mean, you don't so much have voice actors sounding like they just smoked 3 packs of marbles anymore.
Oh, man.
Although that would be pretty awesome.
I mean, why not, right? Like, hey.
It depends on the personality of the Gorn.
Yeah.
Like, if we get my
The grandpa
Grandpa Gorn.
Grandpa
maybe.
Gorn, do.
Oh, God.
Oh, it had to happen once.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm excited about where we're going with the Gorn. I think we have to see the inside of a Gorn ship because they all got transported onto one.
Oh,
so
yeah.
someone else is going to die, too. Lon and Ortegas, and who else is with them?
No
and Banga.
Vegas.
They can't kill like a main crew member this early.
Oh,
They could.
They could. We'll see.
If
If we don't get an
I could
Ortegas episode, I'm gonna.
No, I would
I gotta
cry.
tell you, at this point, I feel like La'an, they could kill off. That's not something that I desire, but I think they've covered enough of her backstory. That
Well, if she was to go out, like saving them,
yeah, I think I could see a heroic sacrifice.
it would be a really.
How do I feel?
Oh God, I don't even know if this is one of the right buttons.
Get off my bridge.
It is. Yes, it worked. Oh man, any final thoughts, guys, on the Gorn before we get into some mailbag?
I'm glad they brought them back. I didn't expect it in season 1, but I'm glad they fully did it.
Yeah.
They did a good job at it.
Yeah, agreed.
Arena is one of my favorite episodes, and I always had a soft spot for the Gorn, so glad that they're back.
Yeah, same. Mailbag time. Subspace to poll. We did one, and some mailbag. Let's go.
Shipwide, Cadet Aurora.
Aye, sir.
And who wants to take the subspace to poll this week?
I'll do it.
Okie dokie.
We asked Trek Twitter what their favorite Gorn episode was, and this is what they had to say. 22% said Arena. 20% said Memento Mori. 13% said All Those Who Wander. And then 45% said Hegemony.
I'm shocked by this, actually. I was expecting it to be Arena
Yeah.
by like
Yeah,
a large
same.
margin. Yeah.
It was very close until you got to Hegemony.
Yeah.
And it's just like, boom.
Yeah. I don't know if that's like just because it's just fresh on everybody's mind and it was a great
I
episode.
mean, there is some recency bias, probably.
Yeah.
But it was a very good episode.
Yeah. Eric did the poll, so MC, can you continue, please, with Colin's mailbag? Colin being the first one, he was very proud to have the first mailbag this week.
And Colin, we've been able to hang out with him.
Yes.
Colin's wonderful.
Wonderful.
Yeah, great. Colin D. wrote, first, what we've learned about the Gorn from Strange New Worlds just basically cancels Arena.
It's not wrong.
Second, all 3 episodes we got from Strange New Worlds were excellent drama. Third, what I like is that they are so different from humanoid enemies. It's going to be hard to even begin to figure them out, much less communicate with them. Fourth, I love La'an being the expert on them. Chrissy has such great intensity in this. Sorry, Arena. It really takes the wind out of the sails regarding her ancestry and has me really admiring her. Fifth, what am I excited about? Getting our damn people back.
Yep, like we were just saying, someone might not make it back. We will see. I'll continue on with Jesco's. Unfortunately, I'm not very excited for the Gorn in Strange New Worlds Season 3. Seeing its Strange New Worlds, I was hoping to have some new alien cultures, both positive and antagonistic, take center stage as the show progressed. However, I do like the new design of the Gorn. They feel more and more like a highly evolved reptile predator in Strange New Worlds than they did in other series. A real threat versus a joke villain as we see in Arena. Favorite Gorn episode is anytime they show up in Lower Decks. Such a funny gag between Gorn Wedding and the Gorn chef on the station. I enjoy, Gorn chef on the station. I wonder what the Gorn sell, raw fish, sushi,
I can see that, yeah.
Yeah, right.
It could be a lot of raw meats
Lots
that
of raw meat. Some beef tartare.
Human tartar?
Some fresh Jim Kirk tartare. I totally lost my spot. I enjoy the comedic value of the species. Carrying on the legacy as the goofy rock-throwing latex man is what I'm here for, rather than rewriting their entire species. Regardless, I'm interested in seeing what happens next, and it's fun revisiting the Gorn. Yeah.
I gotta tell you, if anybody's gonna be appreciating my monster fucker jokes, it's gonna be
it'll be Jessica, 100%. Yep. Can you take Havens, please, Eric?
Totally. I thought about this for a while, and almost each and every series of Trek has had a primary foe that has faced off against. Enterprise had the Xindi, TOS had Klingons, TNG had the Borg, DS9 had the Dominion, Voyager had the Kazon, then the Borg, Lower Decks has the Pakleds, and Prodigy has the Diviner. I never would have thought a singular race from the first season of TOS would be our villain, but I am down for it. And I may not be able to match Tara's writing, but I thought I would give it a try. Gorn's scales of green, in Trek's Scene Their Scene, Kirk's clash on Cestus 3, a legendary screen.
A valiant attempt. Not bad, Haven. We've also been getting to hang out with Haven so far at the con, so very exciting stuff. Continue with Chris's, please, MC.
Chris wrote, I love that we are switching over to another TOS villain that isn't the standard baddie. They are really frightening because they are much more alien than other races, but are also humanoid enough to make their ways aggravatingly confusing. My favorite Gorn episode has to be Memento Mori, but the first appearance in Arena is also a fave. I'm super excited to see where the writers and actors take us after the strike resolves. In the writers and actors' favors, I'm adding that.
Indeed.
Waiting on it will wind up giving me a 4. I hate you, Chris. Waiting on it will wind up giving me a 4 Gorn expression.
Well done.
Oh, boy. Well done. You get one of these.
Get off my bridge.
There you go. I will take Towers. I get the Limerick this week. I am enjoying the reintroduction of the Gorn since current graphics and VFX technology make them so much more believable. They also seem to inspire particularly good music. That's the freaking truth. Thank you, Nami. Bonus Limerick. Great lizards and rapacious Gornlings attack. Their sharp yet slobbering teeth seeking a yummy snack. We think they're monsters and they can block our transponders. The Return of the Gorn. TOS flashback. Very well done. Take us home, Eric.
Professor Time Traveler wrote, I'll never understand why they chose to pick up the Gorn rather than invent a new alien, but I'm trying my best to enjoy the ride. I love the way the adult Gorn looked in Hegemony, my buddy boyfriend, who died unjustly at the hands of an uncaring Spock in Chapel. I'm interested in seeing how this story with the Gorn in Strange New Worlds could possibly lead to the Gorn we see in TOS. Are we seeing Gorn time travelers in Strange New Worlds? Is the fashionista Gorn in TOS just super fucking old? I'm eager to find out.
There you go, MC. By the way, I know that Gorn was Professor Time Traveler's boyfriend, but the way that Spock killed it was really fucking cool.
I mean, it was really great.
It was really
And I'm
cool.
just glad there is somebody else who's on the monster fucker.
Oh, man. I'm going to do this at the end, and I'm not going to edit it because I don't want to take too much time editing. So I'm just going to say this now to everybody. We are about to wrap up this show, and a very quick reminder, as we are actually about to go to a SAG-AFTRA rally. This podcast was recorded during the 2023 WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes, and without the labor of the writers and the actors currently on strike, all the Star Trek series that we love and talk about every single week on this show would not exist. So we need to pay our writers, we need to pay our actors, we need to say fuck you to AI. We got to get a deal done because there are people that are relying on getting a paycheck and they deserve to get a full one.
Yeah. Use AI to help. Don't use AI to replace.
That, exactly. So that is going to do it for our first mostly together episode or second together episode. I don't know. There's been a few. I don't know. But
We're not together.
We're not all. We're barely together. I still haven't had coffee. I'm ridiculously excited about next week because it is our Lower Deck Season 3 review. It is going to be fun. Full disclosure, the screeners have arrived. We are going to hype the hell out of Season 4,
I'm
and
gonna have so
rightfully
much
so.
to say next week because
So
I was
much.
on the podcast.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah.
You think I've been around here forever? But
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like you have. So, I mean, that's a good thing. Alrighty, folks, we have a busy day. We're going to go enjoy the con. If you are around Fan Expo and for some reason you have your headphones in because this will be up in a couple hours and you're listening and want to come say hi, find us walking around. I believe we're, who wants to say it? We're doing a giveaway. We're going to do a cool little trivia giveaway.
Yeah, no, if you come up to one of us, probably me, because I'm the one who's going to be carrying it around with me, and you know what I look like. I got the purple, rocking the purple hair, and I'll be rocking Starfleet uniforms. But if you come up to me and I will ask you a trivia question, and it will be very hard because I know very hard trivia questions, but I have a copy of the first 10 episodes of Prodigy to give away on Blu-ray.
That is going to be fun. I want to see you stump people.
Save
So.
Star Trek Prodigy.
Save Star Trek Prodigy,
yes.
and thank you to the pilot who flew that awesome plane
Yes.
with the banner, you rock, and to all the fans who helped get that in the air in the first place. Amazing. All right, we're going to go have fun at the convention. We'll see you later. For Erik, for Emcee, I am Julian. Live long and prosper, Majram. See you later. Bye.
Thanks for beaming into our podcast today. If you want to keep the hailing frequencies open, you can subscribe on Apple and Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. Like what you hear? Put in a good word with Starfleet and leave us a 5-star review.